Inside Boxing's Throwdown. My name is Steve Johnson, co-host Radio Martinez. Our second segment here, we're going to get right at it in what was really the fight on Saturday night. A fight card televised on HBO live from the StubHub Center in Carson, California, where we had Miguel Cotto back after a 17-month layoff for radio.
Yeah.
You know, he said he was going to take time off, reevaluate, you know, his status and make a decision, and he did. He did not take an easy comeback fight. He came back and he took on Yoshihiro Kamegai from Japan, and most of you remember him. That his last fight that he had I guess it was the third fight between he and Jesus Soto Karass. The first one was a draw, two fights.
Two fights.
First was a draw, and the second one he stopped Soto Karass.
He sure did. Yeah.
Which we knew this fight was going to be a good fight. That was the thing. Too bad that the circus took away from this fight because it was really a good fight, and I think you'll agree with that, right?
This was a good fight.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw them both, and I'll tell you what. Miguel Cotto, Steve, couldn't have hit him anymore. I mean, there just wasn't enough time in a round.
Man.
And Kamegai, I don't know how you can train anyone for that style of fighting. Just get hit and come in and hit. Boy, I think that would shorten your career. But this guy, it's exactly what he did. He'd come in and Miguel Cotto would plant some punches on him, and I'm not talking about a little tip-tap punches. Miguel Cotto was landing some solid punches, and Kamegai just kept coming. He kept coming and wouldn't stop, and went to the distance. I mean, one-sided fight, but to the distance. And if I'm not mistaken, Miguel Cotto threw more punches in this fight than he ever had.
Yeah, he had to. I mean, like you said, there's no question. Everybody that has remember the fight that he had with Soto Karass. Soto Karass and he and Kamegai are really carbon copies of each other, where they both will take two to give one.
Yeah.
Okay, and they're just hard-nosed, tough guys. Actually, we should call it what it is. They're fan-friendly because most of the fans. Floyd Mayweather has gotten all the the rightful credit for being the supreme boxer. But most fans, they want to see two guys go until the one guy has to quit.
Yeah.
And both these guys do that. And so for Miguel Cotto to take on Kamegai was really an interesting fight on paper. And then after seeing the fight actually live, you knew it was all that we thought it would be. Kamegai is a tough guy, as you said. He's one of those guys that, unfortunately, we have to be realistic about. Later on in life, it might be tough for him because he takes a lot of punishment in every fight. Reminiscent of Arturo Gatti, where so much punishment. Wilfredo Benitez, so much punishment where you have to think at some point there's going to be a price to pay. But this fight for Miguel Cotto, moving to him. Excellent showcase of that he still has his skills, and if anything we were worried about is that maybe his skill set had diminished. This fight, in my opinion, into all speculation about that, he's still a force to be reckoned with.
Well, how can you not like Miguel Cotto? I mean, throughout his history, he's always been a gentleman.
Yeah.
He's always been quiet. He's not a big mouth. He's not a showboat.
Right.
He has one of the best body attacks in the business, and he showed that against Kamegai.
Yes.
He did his homework because Kamegai will beat his opponents knowing that they're going to get tired.
Mentally.
And they will get tired.
Yeah,
you just can't throw have such a high output of punches like that and expect to last 10, 12 rounds. And Kamegai knows that, so he's going to keep coming at you, and he's going to stop you or make you quit in the later rounds.
Yep.
While Miguel Cotto, guess what? He didn't tire, and he kept throwing punches to the very end. So he did his homework, and that's a professional for you.
Yeah.
He knew what he was up against, and just like he said in the post interview, I think he said in the after the fifth round, he realized he wasn't going to knock him out.
Yeah.
Okay, he says, I knew that wasn't going to happen, so I had to keep fighting.
Yep.
And to be in shape to do that, you remember, he said this is going to be his last year, and he'll quit. And he reaffirmed that in the post. He said, because he had such a spectacular performance that in the post fight interview they asked him, the people want to see more of Cotto. You still are a good fighter, and people want to see more of Miguel Cotto. Can you tell us, did that change your mind? He said no. He says he hopes to fight one last time in December, but this is his last year, and he says that's going to happen. He's done.
Well, I think you're right, Ray. Part of him, a guy that's totally always been a class act.
Yeah.
If you remember, excuse me, the only hiccup that he ever had in his career was after he took that beating from Antonio
Marchito,
which came out to be later, where there was basically plaster,
concrete. I think it was
his gloves.
yeah.
And so that's the only hiccup he had that had all of us at that point, before we found out what went on, feeling that he was at the end of his career then, because he took such a severe beating. Come back from that, but I think the biggest thing about Miguel Cotto is, like you said, he's always been a class act, either win or lose, or draw. He's always been class, and it's hard to find that nowadays. That's one of the things that, I understand with the young boys now, they all believe that the squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Yeah.
Well, you can still get the grease, from the squeaky wheel, but you can be classy about it.
Well,
he's always done that.
I think he'll hold true to his word.
I believe so too.
I think he's told his wife that before. His wife's been wanting him to stop, because the beatings,
right,
the way you look,
right.
And I still remember him telling his wife, "It's the only thing I know how to do.
Right.
I don't know how to do anything else."
Yeah.
So I think he'll hold true to his word because he wants for family reasons, and he wants faith. But I kind of think in December we're going to have a pretty good fight with Miguel. I think that matchup is going to be a good fight. I don't think it's just going to be a go away.
Can I make a prediction for you?
Yeah.
I'm going to make a prediction, and it might be a little bit. Well, we'll see what happens, but I would have to think that he's looking at the winner of Canelo and Triple G. I really do. I think that's where he'd have to be looking at. For the big money fight and for his own personal.
I think you might be right.
But we have to wait and see how this Canelo and Triple G fight pans out, because if it's a rock'em sock'em and
exactly.
that may go the distance, that would rule that out.
That
but
won't
if it's
happen
early
in December.
But if something happens that goes early, I could see that possibly happen. Because once again, remember, the main rivalry, and this is the reason I say this, is because that rivalry of Puerto Rico and Mexico.
Yeah.
It would be awesome to have Canelo and him go.
I think you might see something like that, but we'll let that pan out and we'll go. But we got 2 minutes left. Let's talk about that undercard. What did you think about that? That was an exciting fight.
Yes, Ray Vargas and Ronnie Rios. Ronnie Rios has always been a tough nut to crack. This young kid, Ray Vargas, he's from Mexico. He's only 26 years old. This kid's the real deal, man. Super bantamweight. Well, let me say one thing real quick. I have to go back to Miguel Cotto just for a second. He's now the WBO junior middleweight champion.
Oh yeah.
Which I think is a joke. I have to just say that. I mean, not him being the champion, but WBO and his first fight after 17 months off. I have to say that.
Okay.
But Ronnie Rios and Ray Vargas. Ray Vargas is the real deal. We've talked about this before, about these young boys, and we talked before about the Cuban fighters, and we talked about the fighters that have come in with high accolades from the Olympians, being an Olympian gold medalist. Here we've got Mike Conlon from Ireland.
Well, Why
didn't he go get Ray Vargas?
I want to talk about that in the next open segment, because I already had in the back of my mind that that's something I want to talk about.
Okay.
But going on to this fight, excellent fight.
Excellent
fight. Action packed. Ronnie and Ray, they just went head to head. They weren't going to give up a step to no one. I mean, this is when you had two outstanding up-and-coming fighters that are ready to get into that world contention, and none of them are going to step back. And this is the kind of fight where the loss doesn't hurt either one of them, because they remain.
I think it hurt Ronnie Rios.
Well, I mean, to a point where you get a loss, but it doesn't hurt him into contention. I'm going to tell you what, there's going to be a lot of super bantamweights out there that won't fight Ronnie. I mean, just because.
That's true. That's true.
In today's age, where they want to pick and choose and give me a win, they're not going to get in there with him.
That's where I think it hurts him, though, because exactly what you said. These guys are going to stay away from him.
But anyhow, 20 seconds. The victor,
Ray Vargas.
Ray Vargas came out with it and remains undefeated.
Yes, now he's 30-0 with 22 KOs.
But I have to agree with him on this. That was a fight. 10 seconds, and that was good.
But you agree with me?
I would agree that you know,
I'm
that
done. I'm done for the day.
That
Good
wasn't so
grief.
much.
I'm done for the day.
That wasn't so much entertainment as much as it was a real fight. Okay.
Well, wait a minute. You know what it was though? Actually, it was an excellent lead in to the next fight coming up with Cotto and Kamegai, where they did the same thing.
Wow.
It was a great fight card. Too bad it got ruined by you and your nonsense. You and your friends, your nonsense. But anyway, we'll come back in a minute with our third segment, which we call our open discussion. And also, Aurelio's been telling everybody he's got this great "come on, man." So I'm waiting to hear your "come on, man." Let's hear it. Okay?
This guy's getting senile. That was last week, man.
No, you said you gonna have him from now on.
I want to come back and see you on our third segment. Until then.